Why don't you sit there and make your own decisions and use that little brain that God gave you? Why are you being like a squirrel with a little tiny brain? But it's amazing to me because even that squirrel is not an empty vessel. It's amazing to me because even the squirrel with a little bitty tiny acorn brain is not an empty vessel. Even that squirrel will perhaps walk up to some food and smell it and see that it's poison there and walk away because he's not a silly empty vessel. He's a squirrel who will use his tiny brain. It's a squirrel who will use that brain that God gave to him. It's a squirrel that will use that brain to make its own wise decisions. It will not eat poison because it's not an empty vessel. And many of you are eating poison. You're eating poison. You're going to these YouTubers who have these massive followings and like an empty vessel. You look at the numbers and say, wow, they're famous. They must be telling the truth. They're bringing many people to Jesus. No, they're not, because they're sitting there and they're telling you lies and you're eating it up like an absolute empty vessel. They're telling your lies and you're eating it up. Eating the poison. You're eating the poison and you're saying, hooray, hooray. Later on, whenever you keep eating that food, you're absolutely going to die. You're going to die. You're going to die, my friends, and perhaps you might not die physically from looking at these false teachers. You might not die physically from listening to these false teachers. You might not die physically, but you're going to die. You are dead spiritually. You're dead spiritually because like an empty vessel, you're eating their poisonous lies. And it's amazing to me. It blows my mind away.